Welcome to my 2023 Top 10 Cornerback Prospects video. This is probably one of my favorite cornerback classes ever. It is such a deep class with a ton of polarizing prospects. Now, before we get into it, I would like to preface that this will be a very experimental video with the graphics, grading scale, and many other things. I will be using the grading scale made by that franchise guy on YouTube. A lot of graphics and ideas I use are inspired by him. Check out his channel in the link in the description. He's a huge inspiration for what I do. Let's hop right into it. Number 10 cornerback is Garrett Williams from Syracuse. This is a guy that started very high in the consensus ranking at the beginning of the draft process and then fell off very quickly. And I believe it's because of his ACL injury, and he's just not as good of an athlete and not as fast as many other guys in this class. He's a very average run defender, consistent tackler. He's nothing really special in the run game. He'll be a good tackler, reliable guy, but he's not bringing any extra juice to the run game. He is a very smooth athlete with quick feet. He can have undisciplined footwork at times, but his feet are very quick and he has fluid hips. His top speed is very adequate. Not great, but it's not poor. He's good enough to run with some guys, and he has very good initial burst. His coverage skills, he is not a liability in man coverage. He just isn't as technical of a man player yet, and that speed can hold him back at times. He has a very good feeling in zone coverage, and he is a very natural, deep zone player. He squeezes routes okay. I think that speed also prevents him from squeezing routes greatly. And overall, he's just not a very special coverage player, but he's good enough to not be a liability. He does a very good job at forcing turnovers, and ball skills is where he is going to win some routes. He tracks the ball very well in the air, and he's great at going up and high pointing the ball like a receiver. Very good contested catcher. And finally, in press coverage, he's very inexperienced. He didn't run much press coverage at Syracuse, but he has the ability to be a very good press bail corner. I think his zone technique and that ability to flip his hips will help him be a adequate press bail corner. He just didn't do it much at Syracuse. Overall, he's a very twitchy athlete. Doesn't have great long speed, but a very fluid, natural athlete, and can be an immediate number 4 guy and potentially a reliable second or third option in the future. Now on to my number 9 cornerback, Cam Smith from South Carolina. He is another guy who started very, very highly ranked in the draft consensus, fell off, and now he is starting to climb back up the consensus board. And he is a pretty interesting prospect. He is the prototypical press man player and great fit for press man teams like the Steelers and Ravens. He's pretty unreliable in the run game. Honestly, a horrible tackler. He takes very poor angles, and he just doesn't finish tackles well. He is a very exceptional athlete, almost great athlete. He's very quick, quick burst, and his burst and speed complements his length very well. He's a very long guy, long arms, but his footwork can be sloppy and slow at times, and his hips are very tight. In coverage, he's very developmental. He is a lot better of a man coverage corner than he is a zone guy. He has decent man coverage. He is a very sticky guy. He gets a little grabby at times, but he is a very reliable man guy that can match up on a lot of receivers with his size and athleticism. But he just has poor zone instincts and less than ideal route recognition. You don't really want to rely on him to play zone coverage. He has incredible ball skills. He plays the ball in the air like a receiver, great going up, getting those contested catches, but at sometimes he can struggle tracking the ball downfield. Overall, great ball skills, just that tracking the ball downfield on those deep balls, hold him back just a little bit. He is a very physical and aggressive player when it comes to press man. His long arms, he has strong long arms, and his physicality on top of his size and length help him be a great jam press corner. Overall, he can plug in and be a starter right away in a press man defense. Any other scheme, I would sit him a year, be a number 4 guy coming on, dime packages. I think that zone coverage just holds him back to be a scheme fit for any other scheme besides press man. Now going to my number 8 cornerback, DJ Turner from Michigan. This guy skyrocketed his draft stock after the combine. He ran the fastest 40 in the draft class, 4.26, and he is a legit elite athlete. He has incredible burst, very quick feet, and fluid hips. He obviously ran the fastest 40 in the draft class, elite top speed, and he will never get beat over the top on a fade or a streak. He will never get beat with speed. He is an okay run defender. Despite his size, he is very willing. He is just not a reliable guy, and at times he can be a timid tackler. When it comes to coverage, his athleticism helps him mirror receivers very well and man coverage. And he pairs that with a very high football IQ. He is a smart guy with incredible athleticism, and he has a great ability to track the quarterback's eyes in jump routes. He is an adequate zone player. He has very poor deceleration ability in coverage. If a receiver cuts quick, he's going so fast that he can't slow down quick enough and make a cut with them. That's the only time his speed hurts them. His speed hurts him, and it's a big thing. That's why that route squeeze is just not where you want it to be with him right now. He tracks the ball downfield really well. He doesn't have he doesn't go up and get the ball very well like others in this class. His size holds him back from doing that. But his athleticism, he has all the traits to be able to do that. And he just lacks the play strength and physicality to play press jam and be a reliable press guy. He has adequate technique in press bail. That's probably where he'd play the most if he is going to play press in a press bail system. He's not as much of a project as the consensus believes. He is an elite athlete with a very high football IQ and good technique in man and press bail. Next up, my number 7 cornerback, Julius Brent. He is a very unique prospect. He is a tall, lengthy guy and ran the second fastest 3-cone and shuttle at the combine, right behind Jackson Smith-Njigba. His size and length makes him a very good run defender. His long arms help him separate from blockers and shed well, and his size helps him be a good, reliable tackler. He doesn't have the best long speed, but he has incredible burst and great footwork, as shown in his shuttle times. He changes direction and bursts really well, and he is a very good athlete for his size. He's another guy that is very developmental in coverage. He has poor man technique, and he is slow to transition out of his back pedal. He has a very stiff, tall back pedal, and that prevents him from transitioning and making sharp cuts quickly. He is an okay zone player. He has very good zone coverage technique. He just has poor route recognition. His ball skills are very good. He's able to go up and make those contested catches because of his size and long arms. And he has a great build and incredible physicality to play press. His long arms and long, strong arms and play strength helps him be a great press man and jam press and press bail corner. Overall, he is a very long player with incredible agility and burst for his size. He'd be a perfect fit in a cover 3 Seattle scheme and a very adequate day one starter in that scheme. Next up at number 6, I have Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State. He is one of the most unique cornerback prospects in history. He would be way higher on this rankings if he wasn't 160 pounds. His size makes him a terrible run defender. He does not take good angles, and his play strength just makes him a unreliable tackler. Although he's willing to play run defense, his size just makes him a non-factor. He has incredible speed and burst, and it complements his length really well. He has very fluid hips, but his footwork can get sloppy at times. His coverage skills are pretty good. This is why he's ranked so high. This coverage skills. At times, he can easily get bodied in man coverage. He's not the best man player. I would not rely on him to play man because of his size, and he just virtually can't cover over the middle because he just gets outbodied by every single receiver. But this is where he's going to make his money. This zone coverage, he has incredible zone instincts and route recognition. He closes separation really quickly, and he is a very reliable zone player. Now, his ball skills are the best in the entire class. He is incredible at tracking the ball downfield, incredible at jumping routes, great at jump balls. He had 14 interceptions in his college career and 6 pick sixes. His ball skills are some of the best I've ever seen by any player in the world. I believe if he wanted to switch to receiver, he would be a top 10 receiver in this class just because of those ball skills and the athleticism. That's how crazy he is when the ball is in the air. He is a very inexperienced press player. He lacks the physicality, size, and play strength to be a good jam press player. His technique is okay in press bail, but I would not rely on him to press in any scheme. Overall, he is a very scheme-dependent player. He needs to go to a cover 4 Fangio scheme where he can sit back in zone coverage and use his athleticism to roam the field and jump routes. But if you can add some weight on this guy, he has incredible upside. One of the highest upsides in this class. Halfway there. Next up, my number 5 cornerback, Tyrique Stevenson. I have him a little bit higher than the consensus. I believe he could go first round to the right team. His size and length allows him to shed blocks really well, although he is a very poor tackler. I don't know how, but he just doesn't use his size to tackle. He is a terrible tackler. He's not really a special athlete. He has good speed, good footwork, great balance, but he can be slow out of slow out of his breaks sometimes. He's not going to win with his athleticism, but he's not going to lose because of it. He is a very good press player. He's very technically sound in man, in that size complements his man technique very well. He's a very sticky player, although he can get grabby at sometimes, but he can probably get away with it a little more in the NFL than he did at college. He has a very poor feel for zone coverage. He didn't run a ton of it at Miami, but he just doesn't have a great feel for zone coverage, and he just doesn't have good route recognition. His length and play strength makes him a great press jam corner. He uses his strong arms very well to stick guys at the line of scrimmage, and he will knock a receiver off his route and push him off the field. Overall, he's a very adequate athlete with great man technique and fits a press man scheme perfectly. He can plug in and be a very good starter for any press man team. Now, these next four corners I am very high on. All four of them are graded very closely, and corner 4, 3, and 2 are pretty interchangeable in my book. So, my number 4 corner, Joey Porter Jr., son of former Steelers linebacker Joey Porter. He is a big dude, extremely long wingspan. Now, for that size, though, he is a very lackluster run defender. He is an adequate tackler, but he just does not get off blocks very well, and he does not take great angles. Now, his average athleticism is the reason why he's ranked 4th out of these top 4. He lacks burst and recovery speed to hang with elite receivers in the NFL. He has okay footwork, and he struggles to get out of his back pedal quickly. He struggles bursting out of that back pedal, changing directions. He is a great coverage player, though. He is very technically sound in man and zone, has incredible route recognition and football IQ. He is very reliable in both, and his experience in technique in man zone makes him fit any scheme. He has very good ball skills. He attacks the ball very well in the air and tracks it very well down the field. He is the best press player in this class. He has great length, a huge wingspan, like I said. He has 81-inch wingspan. He has very strong punches, and he has incredible technique to play jam and press and bail. Overall, he just has great technique and coverage, generational length and press ability, and can be an instant starter in any scheme. Now, Christian Gonzalez, my number 3 cornerback from Oregon, he is the best mix of athleticism and size in this class. He has incredibly high upside due to that combination. He's a very physical run defender, very reliable tackler. Not anything special, but he can make a difference in the run game. Now, he has great top speed with elite burst, elite footwork, and elite hip work. He moves so well around the field. He flies around the field, and his athleticism can make up for all his mistakes. When you're watching him on film, it looks like he's covering half the field because he's so incredibly athletic. And that athleticism and length makes him a great man player. He's just so quick, squeezes routes so well, and just runs the routes for receivers many times. Now, he is a very timid zone player. He gives too much cushion at times, kind of sits back in zone, lets the receiver do their thing, and he relies on his athleticism a ton in zone. And he will let up a lot of catches underneath in shorter zones. Now, he has great ball skills. He tracks the ball downfield like a receiver and has a tremendous ability to go up and pluck the ball out of the air. His combo of length and size makes him a very good press player as well. He is a lot better technically at bail press, but his length makes him a great jam press player as well. Overall, he is an insane athlete with tremendous ball skills and press ability, and he can be an instant starter in any scheme with the highest upside in this draft class. My number 2 cornerback is Deontay Banks from Maryland. He is one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft. He's definitely a guy I am higher on than the consensus, but his great combine and offseason has boosted his draft stock a ton. He is a very good run defender. I'd say one of the best run defenders in this class. He can struggle getting off blocks at times, but he is easily the best tackler in this entire corner class. He's an incredibly quick and twitchy athlete with near elite top speed, great burst, and footwork. He's a very, very experienced and good coverage player as well. He is a good man coverage player. He needs to trust his technique more at times. You can see on tape and deep balls he doesn't turn his head really very well, which affects his ball skills as well. But this is where he's going to make his money, his zone ability. He is a generational zone player. Incredible football IQ. Knows the whole defense's assignments at all times. And he communicates and passes off receivers at an elite level. He plays like a 10-year NFL veteran at zone coverage. You can just see on film, he's pointing out receivers. He knows where they're going before the receiver makes their cut. And he's communicating to his teammates who's got who's coming to whose zone. And he's just the best zone corner or zone coverage player I've seen. He has, again, adequate ball skills because of that lack of ability to turn his head in man coverage. He's very bad at tracking the ball deep, but his ability to make contested catches makes up for it a little bit. And he is a very physical and aggressive player with great press technique. His strength and physicality helps him be a very effective jam press player, and that physicality also helps him match up against tight ends as well. And he won't get out physical, out strength by bigger receivers and tight ends. Overall, he is one of my favorite prospects in this entire class. He's a very twitchy athlete with generational zone coverage ability and great press technique, and can immediately be a top 5 zone player in the entire league. Finally, my number 1 cornerback in the 2023 NFL draft class is Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. He is clearly, far and away, the best cornerback in this draft class. He is a very okay run defender. His size prevents him from being very effective at getting off blocks. But when he does get off blocks, he is a great tackler, and he flies in and he hits like a missile. He is another elite athlete with very good top speed and elite burst. The way he changes directions and picks up speed is like no other. His footwork and hip work is also elite. His coverage skills are the best in this entire class. He is the best man player in the entire draft, one of the best ever coming out of college. He has incredible technique and an elite ability that very few players have to immediately remove separation on routes. So as soon as a receiver makes a cut, gets that little bit of separation, it's gone before they can even turn their head. He has a very high football IQ and great route recognition. He's an inexperienced zone player. He didn't play much zone at Illinois, and if I were the coach, I wouldn't play him in zone that much either, because his elite ability to be a lockdown man coverage player. But he has the attributes and the IQ to be a very good zone player. He has great ball skills, attacks the ball very well in the air, and tracks the ball downfield very well. He's a great technician in press coverage as well. He is better at bail press because of his size, but if he needs to, he's physical enough to press a guy into the sideline. Overall, he is the best cornerback in the class, undebatedly. An elite athlete, elite ability, generational ability to remove separation, incredibly smart player, and can be a great starter in any scheme. And I guarantee you he will be a top 10 corner by the end of the year. That is the end of my 2023 top 10 cornerback rankings. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below. I love feedback. I will try and do a better job of responding to all the comments. Again, this was a very experimental video, and it took a lot of inspiration from that franchise guy on YouTube. Check out his channel in the link in the description. And again, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Have a great night.